Hey everybody, welcome to the No Gamer You Know channel. Today in this playlist of videos, it's going to be starting with Adobe products. I'm going to show you how to use Adobe Premiere, After Effects, and maybe a few others. Today we're going to start with Premiere Pro. I'm using Premiere Pro 2017. I also use 2015, but I've been using 17 for a while because it has some new features that I like. So in this video, I'm just going to show you, this is a beginner's tutorial by the way, so I'm just going to show you what you need to know to get up and running, and these are probably the most essential things you're going to want to know at first anyways, because it's probably I would say it's the most used tools I guess we'll be using. So I'm going to show you what you need to do to navigate around and what tools you need to concentrate on at first. I guess that'll help you out and get you started. Okay, so let's get going. If you're wondering why this is highlighted too, it's because I wanted you to be able to see exactly where I'm going and what I'm clicking, because I've noticed in some videos people just click everywhere with these cursors. It's hard to tell where they were clicking in, like some things. I'm not even talking Adobe videos or anything. I'm just talking any videos that have fine detail like menus and stuff. But anyways, when you first started, this is what you're gonna get. Okay, you're gonna get a screen like this, a welcome screen. This will probably be blank. This is where all your projects and stuff, well, most recent up to 10 I guess basically, will get saved. I have a bunch of numbers in here and a couple of demos I was just practicing with, but if you want to get rid of this, the best thing to do is just open up 10 new projects. In other words, open one, close, open another one, name it 2, and then once you have all 10 filling the space in, you can go back in the Adobe Premiere cache folders where that keeps the projects or whatever, and you can delete them out wherever you're keeping the project anyways. And I don't necessarily mean the cache, but wherever you're keeping the projects, and then you can just delete them out and this should be blank for you. Okay, so let's begin. This right here is where we'll most likely start all the time. It's a new project, and then we have open a recent project, and this is just really for corporate and enterprise teams working together. Okay, so let's begin, and we'll hit a new project, and now we're going to name it. As you can see, there's a title here, and we'll name it Demo 3 since I already have a couple of demos. And you see this is the location of where it's going to put it. So like I said, I can go back and erase them all in here now and should have a blank screen. Don't worry about these right now, I'll be talking about them later. Right here is your playback if you have a video card with the CUDA drivers or whatever, and then you have a memory playback engine for the software only if you don't have a graphics card that can handle that. We're going to leave all this. This might be DV. If it is, just change it to HDV. Everything these days should be HDV pretty well. You'll know if it's not anyways. So anyways, let's take care and hit OK. So I'm glad it showed you this actually, because I was actually going to bring this up if it didn't. What this is it tells you there's something wrong with your hardware. So basically, if you right click down here, you'll see that you got hardware and stuff right here to control where your outings and stuff are. So this is basically what it's going to control. So it's already brought it up automatically, and it says it's not working. That's because I have to select that there. We're going to say yes to that, and that should be okay there. So that's how you're going to fix your audio hardware if you get that, because you might get that. A lot of people get it at first when they're opening this thing up. So just change that and hit OK. While we're in here, I might as well go through a couple things. This is just your general things where you can change a few different stuff. Here's your startup and stuff like that. So you can change it if you want. You can do that. You see, you can change that to show the start screen instead of dialog box, so forth, and a few other things if you want to change them. The appearance, this is just the brightness and stuff. You can brighten it up, lower it. You can change this around too. Just experiment with it, what you like. Audio, it's basically the same thing with some settings, and we just showed you that. So The only other thing I'd be wary of is the media here. So here you could change where all your media and stuff goes by hitting the browse. So it's up to you if you want to stick it in a folder on another drive that's bigger or whatever. It's up to you. And you can also clean your cache out here to make more room if it starts getting too big on the drive. Okay, so we're going to hit OK there. And what we're going to do now is we're going to search around here to show you what everything means. So you're basically going to have a few windows here. Okay, if you want to change them around, you just got to hold down, click and hold down the title bar, and you can move them around just like that. You know, whatever you want to do. Now, if you're like, oops, oh, how do I get back? All you have to do every time when you're in these different workspaces, okay, these are all different workspaces up here. This one's for coloring per se, this one's for doing effects, just audio. They're default layers for this. But anyways, if you want to set back to the workspace you had in those layers, you just come there and we're going to reset to save layout. So if you didn't get that, Windows workspace and then reset layout, okay, and it'll reset it for whichever panel you happen to be on for editing. Okay, so now up here we have it's just like any other Windows system, since I am on Windows and not Mac. As you can see, we got a bunch of different menus too. A lot of this stuff is really in front of you too on in here, so a lot of this is related to up here too. We also have your effects controls and stuff that you'll see once you have clips in, so there's nothing there because we don't have any clips in. We have a media browser here. We also have libraries, and you see this arrow. If you ever see an arrow like that, it just means there's other menus you can pull in here that you're not seeing. So there's the effects per se, and then I can go back to the project. And then in here, this is our timeline. This is where we'll be pulling videos over from here, and this is where you'll be doing all your editing pretty well, most of it anyways, about 95% of it. This up here is your source monitor, where once you put videos or pictures, whatever's going in your timeline will show up here for you to monitor, and you can move it, point it, whatever. Then here's what we call the source clip monitor, more or less. It lets you do some in-out points, lets you scrub a bit, whatever, little edits and stuff that you can drag down here that are just a little quicker, but without doing them actually in the timeline. Okay, so now I want you to remember that between Mac and Windows, don't forget that you have your Control, which is Command, and then you have Alt, which is Option, or vice versa. Option is Alt, and then Command is Control. So in this program, if you're familiar with Windows, most things work the same like Windows keys. So you have your Control C for copy, Control V for paste, Control Z for undo. That's one thing you're going to want to remember is Control Z. You'll definitely be using that a lot. Or you can always go up here and you'll have an undo too right there, but Control Z is usually much faster. Okay, so one thing I'm going to show you before I leave off here, because this is all I'm just going to show you for this short tutorial. The next one coming up is going to go a little more in depth. I just don't want to shove everything in front of you at once, because I'd rather you open up your Premiere Pro and take a look and just kind of fool around and see what's what. I mean, just like I showed you and what it does, so you get used to how things are and how they look. But in the next episode, I'm going to go through a bunch of stuff like how you get started with your videos and stuff. Okay, but before I do that, I want you to come up to Edit, and you're going to see this keyboard shortcuts. Now, isn't that just beautiful? That is beautiful, eh? So this shows you all the keyboard shortcuts that are available and which ones are located on the key. So for instance, on the I we have a mark in, the O we have a mark out, and then if you come down in here, it shows you all the shortcuts there are and stuff. So you can basically do whatever you want. You can even change things around if you want, but I don't really screw around with this too much because it's perfect where it is for me. And your spacebar, that will play and stop things when you want to watch. So, yeah, pretty cool, nifty, eh? Okay, so in this episode, we've went through the windows and what they are. We went through what these little titles up here are. I've showed you what these were right here, and I've also showed you what these were here. I've also explained what each window was and that you're able to move them around if you want, so forth, so forth. Okay, so watch part 2 of this series, and we will begin using video and how we use it in the timeline and a few other things. Okay, so thanks for watching this beginner's video, and you take care. Bye bye.